Peace, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to Israel Doctrines Google Hangout. As y'all know, we also got Black Intelligentsia. So those the main two channels, Black Intelligentsia and Israel Doctrine Google channels. Subscribe, check us out. Today we talking the hip hop industry crimes against the Black community. And we got our brother Knowledge here with us right now. A couple more people will be joining in a little later. But we talking hip hop, people. And, you know, hip hop got a nice little history to itself. A lot of things that came about, a lot of elements has been added to the basic four elements. And, you know, all these things used to be grassroots and street organized, from the street teams to the, you know, stealing the electricity from the light poles and the DJs having their sound system wars to see who sound the best, the DJs seeing who could scratch and cut the best, and you know, keep those break beats popping, and who could find the better breaks. You know, the rappers coming with they, you know, call and response to flows, to battles, things of that nature. The b-boys breaking and dancing and seeing who can pop, lock, and do all those things. But then in all of this, we had street fashion. So, you know, the fashion industry started up off of that, where they had the hip hop clothing lines and stuff, the Sean Johns, the Machiavellis, the, you know, the Carters, G Unit, so on and so forth, to what we got today. Street language, you know, the acronyms and different things that stood for stuff. Street knowledge, knowing what's going on the streets, the drug dealing, the you know, different things that happen in the different neighborhoods. We're not gonna call them hoods, neighborhoods that turned into hoods. And then street entrepreneurs, those that did like they did in the Bay Area, were going up and down the, you know, West Coast, selling rap tapes and CDs and stuff out they trunk, which turned into a Southern movement, so on and so forth. Mixtapes and things in New York City. So it's a lot of different elements and a lot of different things from a street entrepreneur mental standpoint, as well as a community standpoint. And these things all took place in the Black community with the Latino community. So as we was talking to the brother Malik, my bad, brother Malik. Malik, you know, he's part of the Zulu Nation, or once was a part of the Zulu Nation. So this is just a, you know, extension of that conversation. Go check out that video on the channel. So as I said, we got Knowledge with us so far. Other people will be joining in as we proceed with the conversation. So Knowledge, if you want to step in and talk and inform us on your knowledge of hip hop and your viewpoint, you know, please do.
Peace. Pardon, sir. Peace, Israel. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you coming over and talking with us today about this subject here, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of times within our community, we look at effects and not causes. And so, you know, when we approach this situation uh, about the hip hop industry, we look at it from the standpoint of a consumer uh, and not really holding the gatekeepers accountable for the effects. Uh, we look at the effects. You know, we see poverty, we see drugs, we see murder, we see devastation. We see all of the effects, but we don't look at the cause. You know, I didn't even really want to look at hip hop within itself, because uh, hip hop is something that can be used uh, globally to bring about a uniting factor, you know, from different people. But when we look at that, once we look at something from a global perspective, we begin to leave our people out. So we don't see ourselves in the global stage. We see ourselves in a setting uh, within the confines of one community, whether we call it a project or whether we call it a hood or whether we call it an urban environment or anything like that, we don't take it to the world stage. So my approach to this is to indict the hip hop industry, to hold the hip hop industry accountable uh, as a as an arm and not a root of this, the system of racism, white supremacy, and also to indict that area of people activity, which is entertainment. But if we look at economics, if we look at education, and we look at entertainment, we can see the influence that this uh, industry has had on all of the 9 areas of people activity, but specifically in the realm of economics, education, and entertainment. So, and that's the approach I'm approaching from, using some of the Crest theory of color and confrontation, and also some of Amos Wilson's blueprint for Black Power, along with some other things. So that's where I sit as far as my opening statement. And I appreciate you having me on, brother.
No, no problem, no problem. Well, it seemed like it's us now. So if you would like to go into one of those paradigms or conversations, it'll be all right with me. I'm an old school head, so I know a lot about different stuff dealing with hip hop. But to touch on some of the things that you're talking about, I would be interested in hearing them anyway, because I never read those things. So please do. You got the material together?
I just need 1 second
Okay, I just
to.
Black, what's up?
Peace, y'all.
Black in the house too.
Peace, peace.
He's part of that industry, y'all, down in Atlanta. So
Oh yeah.
put him on indictment here today too. He might end up on trial.
Oh, it's all good. I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind. I mean, because a lot of stuff people need to hear the differences, my differences on it. As far as being a producer, and I've been producing for some years now, so I don't mind. I don't mind, and I really and depending on the questions you ask me, you know what I'm saying. I want people to take notes. Don't hit me with too much about Carl, and don't hit me with too much
Knowledge.
don't hit too much journalism. Do the knowledge.
So just give your outcome on what you see in the industry from our younger days when we was as Tupac said, ain't nothing like the old school. Everything we know about hip hop, started in the Five Boroughs, and why it was birthed in the first place, and then the industry took over. Sugar Hill Gang, Sugar Hill Records, and Def Jam and stuff. So what do you know about this emerging of hip hop in the industry coming in and stuff? Black, talk
garage down because I could bear. I could barely hear you, Carl.
All right, well, I was just asking you what was your understanding of the industry here in Atlanta, and I was talking about New York, but if you can explain Atlanta, because Atlanta is becoming a hotbed for a lot of artists, people coming up, organized noise and all that type of stuff. So
Right.
how's the industry in Atlanta?
Okay. As far as that goes, like the thing about it is, it's all about people trying to make it up out of a poverty state, you know, and trying to make it out of this poverty state. What happens is the talent or the wavelength shift, you know, to say that, okay, although I'm talented, and they use this term called dumb down, you know, so I dumb it down a little bit, then maybe I could get seen. Now what happens is once you get seen, when those lights start to flash, that conscious person disappear. That person that says, you know, I want to uplift the community, and this, that, and the third. It happened to the best of them. It happened to a majority of the Dungeon family. Look at CeeLo. CeeLo, you know, when them lights started flashing on, he wanted the same shine that Big Boy them got. You know what I'm saying? That he wanted that same shine that Outkast have. You know, and then once once those lights start shining on him, then he put on the dress, because putting on the dress equals more money. Putting on the dress, you know, allow more people to pay attention to him. Now, his message may kind of sort of be the same, but can you get the message by looking at him in that style of dress? Probably not. You know, people probably wouldn't even pay him no attention now, because how he wanted to dress. And he knew he did that because he wanted that light. Now, as far as him being a one-hit wonder, I wouldn't put him in that category. When we start talking about one-hit wonders, a lot of those people are good artists, musicians, or what have you. But at the same time, you can use the same analogy for them as you use for CeeLo. The thing about it is, once the lights shine on them, you know, they want to become more gangster or whatever, and they play themselves off the streets, or they put themselves in the box, or, you know, more people in the community want to start being like them, and not understanding that what they creating is a fad. Next year, like, we had this thing called Birthday Bash. Every year it come around. Once you hit the Birthday Bash stage, just know that your record won't be played no more, and it's going to be on to the next dude, you know. And when it's on to the next dude, you know, these people are pushed right back into the position that they were in before they got heard of. The only difference is they may have a little more money. The crime is, I would say the crime is them. They put the crime on. They killed themselves. You know, they hurt themselves as far as murdering what could have been a great career or whatever had they stayed within the conscious realm. Now, when we talk about consciousness or whatever, it got to be entertaining. You know what I'm saying? Your consciousness has to be, if you want to keep a person's attention, because most people's attention span is not that long. So it's like, how can you keep that attention span, you know, unless you're talking about sex, money, and violence, you know. And then you have to get into go into the realm of, how could I be entertaining talking about sex, money, and violence if I'm doing it in a positive light? So that's to me, that's the whole crime, because it's like you killing the community, but you ain't understanding that you can't uplift the community with that same conversation. This is, to me, in my opinion, this is how Tupac was able to be elevated to be that one. You know what I'm saying? The Don, because he knew how to talk about sex, money, and violence, but he knew how to put it. He knew how to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, more or less than just talking about the good of it. So in Atlanta, it's like most of these cats just want to talk about the good of it. You know, I got this much money, I wear these type of clothes, I hang around these type of people or whatever. But what's the backlash of it? You know what I'm saying? How many people died doing that? How many people lost their spirituality listening to it? How many women, you know, started to degrade themselves, you know? So it's like, it becomes a crime in itself. But I think the artists and producers, because you can't leave the producers out, you know, because ultimately it is on the producers to create the picture. It's same like with Love and Hip Hop. You know, we could say all these people that's on Love and Hip Hop play themselves, but the producer is Mona, you know. So she could paint a better picture for them, but will she? No, because money is in the play. You know, she get more ratings and get to stay on TV more. Same like that with the music, you get more record sales, you get more, be invited to the party.
So
You know,
bring it into the industry picture, the big picture of the industry, and like you said, the producers behind it, the producers of the show, the producers of the album, not just the beat maker, but the producer, the one that's shaping and molding what tracks get on there and what type of verses and what type of album, you know,
right, right,
from that perspective.
right. So say for instance, if you Carl, if you got a chance to have a label, and your label said that your situation says that we're gonna give you a 5-year deal, 10-year deal at X amount of dollars, but you have to sell so many albums. Then you say, okay, well, I could sign a Nas and give him majority of this budget, but to solidify my deal that I continue on with this company, I could get a whole lot of Soulja Boys just so I can get those numbers coming in. You know, what happens is, as a producer, you say that you start to say, well, you know what? Nas ain't as entertaining as Soulja Boy, and I want more money. So you start the hunger for that money starts to come in because you know it's there. The thing about it is, like, the people who own these major labels, they are billion-dollar companies, so they have to give away the money to say they have to sign. And when they sign these people, they sign them with the understanding of it's going to be wrote off as a tax. You may not know, you may not look at your artist as being a tax write-off. You may look at your artist as being dope. They good, you know what I'm saying? Or they gangsta, they going to soak the streets up. Whatever terminology you would want to use. But for as the people who behind the curtains, the major labels, they don't want, their name not going to be on there as far as the executive. So ultimately, they won't be the ones who got their hand on the gun to say. It's the people that'll be considered like, baby, he got his hand on the gun. T.I. got his hand on the gun. Master P got his hand on the gun. Now, can you tell them what type of bullets to shoot? Probably not, because they know they getting bigger guns. You know, they getting planes and they be able to drop bombs on people. So it becomes that thing of the producers have to be held accountable for the content that's put out there. Now, you know, as far as content, will it be entertaining? You think we have to start getting into what's entertaining, what keep people's attention. So before we say, oh, this is the ultimate crime, or, you know, Gucci Mane killed the community with the way he rap, or we need more people to rap like Twista or whatever. Twista can rap real good, but how entertaining is it? Is he more entertaining than to do the Nene dance? Is he more entertaining to do the Two Live Crew type of stuff, you know? So do we put African dance in it, you know, to say, you know, well, we're going to put, since people want to see dance, we're going to put African dance in it. Is African dance entertaining? Really? I mean, you know, you have to ask yourself that question. The people who's into, who want to be entertained, they have to ask themselves that question. You know, we can't push that issue, and I think it's an issue that needs to be pushed, but, you know, it's a great but, and not to negate anything I said, it's still a great but behind it. And the great but is, it comes back down to money. You know, how can I be able to take care of my family? Can I get myself out of this position that I'm in, I don't have a car, I don't have a home, hungry, you know, I don't have any clothes, and my family is the same way, you know.
Okay. Peace to you on a phone call. How you doing, Royale? I muted you.
Okay.
We're gonna pass. Okay, you back on now. Speak on the industry. We just opening up and giving our first conversation on what's going on. Knowledge opened up. Now we got DJ Black. He just opened up. So we talking about the hip hop industry and its crimes against the black community. So if you could speak on the industry and just open it up and let us know what you know about the industry then we could get into the crimes and the different details, because we're gonna come back to knowledge, and he's gonna give us some layout of some source material that he you know, gonna reference.
Hey, can you hear me or no?
Yes.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. When it comes to the industry, you know, being signed to a major label and you know, making my achievements in the industry that we all, you know, that we all look to as the end all be all when it comes to what we should and shouldn't be listening to. It's real simple. It's a business. You know, I never got that you know, twisted. I was told early on by other people, you know, that from my community that was into the music, look at it, go into it as a business. One of the first things I was told by a couple of brothers that was approached by major labels before I even, you know, got signed. It was like they said either you want to keep it real and be broke, or you want to, or if you have a choice, you have a choice between keeping it real and being broke in the hood, you know, and still being with your people, or, you know, you got a chance to make some money, you know, cross over, whatever the case is. So, you know, at first, I was like, okay, I just always kept that in mind. But when you actually, you know, when I actually got signed, and, you know, a lot of people that was around me that was working just as hard, or, you know, or whatever the case is, that didn't get signed, I always kept that in mind. So being in the inside, I was realizing that it's purely they could give two shits. You know what I'm saying? Like they you know, it's just really about how you can turn a revenue, generate more interest, and pretty much you come in debt, and everything that you do is on your shoulders. As a fan first, as a fan, you know, to the industry, and as a fan to most, you know, most of the artists that we all love, you know, love to this day. As a fan first, you know, we don't know why they made this move or why they put this record out. You know, we just know what records we like, and we don't understand why Marvin Gaye didn't. It was like a certain record, like he was on a roll, and then once, you know, was just what he would consider horrible, you know, because he had something it was a back situation where he was like, I got to put out this horrible album so they could get off of me, you know, and then I'll, you know, release some better music after I, you know, get a new situation. And a lot of artists are kind of going through that, and you don't, you know, you won't understand that until you put in a situation where it's like, okay, you know, you're signed to, you know, however many records most of these people, you know, get signed to, you know, and you wind up trying to figure out, do you negotiate the integrity of your sound, or do you or do you make something great and stay a slave? So when it comes to the industry, it's just really simple and real cut and dry. It's a business, and you can't go in thinking that it's anything other than that. You know, a lot of other people today really just think like, yo, I'm dope, I'm supposed to be on, I'm supposed to be popping, I'm supposed to be this, I'm supposed to be that. But luckily for me, you know, I never listen to people when they tell me to just do one thing, you know, because I paint, draw, do music, and strategic marketing, blah, 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 and all these other different things. And, you know, a lot of people would always say, do one thing, brother, just focus on one thing. And now we're in a day and age where if you do one thing, you done boxed yourself in, and you can't, you know, you can't get out. I done, you know, bigger brands and tried to blackball me and try to, you know, square off with me in a way where if I wasn't doing some of the other things, I wouldn't even be available to have this conversation. So nowadays it's really about you know, just being showing that you have other ways to pull in revenue, other ways to display your brand, other ways to show that you are something valuable to the community. The music itself, you know, obviously a lot of people just come in with the approach of, oh, it's just a hobby, and, you know, I should be on, and, you know, just because I dropped one song. And I'm looking at it like, you know, there's so many talented artists that are no longer doing music, because to me, you know, if you're a musician, you can't retire. You can't retire from being a musician. You can't, just like you can't retire from being black. You just either a musician, or artist, or you not. So some of the people that stop or ruin the music are not really great musicians. They're probably just better businessmen. And that's where we at today in today's music. A lot of people are like awesome businessmen and businesswomen, or they just were great street hustlers that poisoned the community and killed anybody in their way. And now they're in a position where a talented musician should be, but the businesses just look at it as, well, these guys know how to make money, you know. So it comes, you know, the music labels are entertainment banks, but unfortunately, most of the time, the guys who are in charge, the men and women that are in charge of bringing in the artists, are usually college graduates or not college graduates, and maybe not always the sharpest, but they, you know, they may be musically savvy, but most of the time they're jaded. They done heard everything, so somehow you got to get over that hump, and then you got to get over the hump of the people, what type of music they want. So it's a business, man. Like it's purely a business, and any other approach other than that, you know, you'll be jaded, and you'll, you know, find a lot of contention for, you know, for music. And it doesn't, you know, it's just something where when it comes to doing this music, and that if you really love what you do your music, handle your business. That's why they always, you know, stress the business of music, and don't block yourself in talking, you know, don't block yourself in just thinking that, well, I'm gonna just be a great rapper or singer, unless you have a great team. If you're just a great rapper, then you're gonna need a great social media person and a great promoter and so forth and so on. Me, I multitask, but at the same time, you know, a lot of people are intimidated by the fact that I work so fast and I get so much done by myself that they feel that, you know, they feel they can match up with me, and so they try to compete with me too early instead of just cooperating. So I'm forced to do a lot of things on my own, which I could care less, but I never turn down help. The music industry is something where you're going to find yourself in a position where you got to rely on yourself a lot. And other than that, we could, you know, build on whatever else you guys got going on, you know.
Okay. Well, we're going to go back to Knowledge, and we're going to let him read or bring out some of this source material, and then hopefully we can all speak on it and share some light on our perspective of the material. So Knowledge, you ready?
Yeah, I appreciate that little bit of time. I needed that. Hey, peace, Royale. How you doing, G?
Salute, man.
DJ Black, what's good, brother?
Peace, King. Peace.
The beautiful thing about what both of the brothers just brought out was an insider's look versus an outside view. So the areas of emphasis that both of them brought on was looking at it with a critical eye, and also with that inside information, it led to a particular pathway. So Francis Cress Welson's theory on color and confrontation spoke specifically to the 9 major areas of people activity, and the third one is entertainment. So we're looking at entertainment. DJ Black alluded to entertaining, and Royal came in there with the hook, line, and sinker about it being a business, and don't look at it as anything other than a business. So a business will fall under a particular set called industry. So I looked at industry, and I looked at the definition of industry. So one of the operational definitions for industry is the production of goods or services within an economy. So we know the first of the 9 major areas of people activity is economy. So within that economy functions an industry, and this is the production of goods and services. The major source of revenue of a group or a company is the indicator of its relevant industry. So if we look at the hip hop industry, this is exactly what we're looking at. We're looking at goods or services within an economy. So An artist is termed in that regard as their ability to produce within that economy or within that industry that determines their relevancy. So, increasing that increasing that bottom line is one thing, but once we look at it in the framework or that lens of the system of racism and white supremacy, we see how this is used. You see what I'm saying? Like uh, DJ Black spoke about poverty, so let me read the definition of that. Poverty, the state of being extremely poor, the state of being inferior in quality or insufficient in amount, the renunciation of the right to the individual ownership of property as being part of a religious vow. So we look at that uh, and we see a state of being. That was the first thing that came out. You see what I'm saying? So us wanting to escape a current state of being, someone is waiting for you at the end of that tunnel with that opportunity, saying, "Hey, I can make you a star." You see what I'm saying? Otherwise, I can make you not be in this state of being poor. So this state of poor or this state of destitution or hardship or state of need, this is really what it is. So we're looking at that state of need to be fulfilled, not necessarily to even be famous, because that's not even the intent. That was never the intent of any of the brothers who came out. They just didn't want to be broke no more. You see what I'm saying? They wanted a better life. They wanted to not be able to be in need. You know, like DJ Black was saying, people wanted to take care of their family, and that translated into something else. So now it's no longer the need. The motivation is no longer the need to want to take care of your family or sustain yourself. It's to be famous. Now, and that's another division. You see what I'm saying? The ability to be the court jester, as we see in the kingdom, the court jester was to entertain the people. You see what I'm saying? So now you can see this in the same industry. So now what we'll look at it as a couple of things. We look at influence. And influence is defined as the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself. So now, using that sphere of influence, we see this being brought out in this other situation where someone is using their influence over another person because they're in a state of need and say, "Hey, I got you." You see what I'm saying? So this center influence can keep somebody in a state of illusion, and also it becomes like a prison cell because you're stuck and you're bound. So not only are you bound in your mind, you're bound on paper. You see what I'm saying? That's that bond paper that these contracts is written on, that we really don't get a chance to even do the knowledge to. So when you're bound, you're binding yourself. It becomes like an oath. So you done took this oath contractually and saying that you're going to fulfill this obligation. So now it has nothing to do with your ability as an artist. You become bound. You know what I'm saying? That's what Royale was alluding to when he said, Marvin Gaye didn't want to put out that whack ass album, but he had to put it out because he owed. He was bound to that particular industry for a certain amount of albums. If y'all look at Michael Jackson, right before he was assassinated, he was speaking about he only owed this many albums to Sony, and he said, "Oh, I'm good. Those albums is already done." You see what I'm saying? So he had already planned to depart from that label and go someplace else. Y'all know the issue with Tupac. He was planning on leaving Death Row. You see what I'm saying? So just though all of those things become into play when we start looking at exactly how these things are used and how this center of influence and that need template is there and they take advantage of it. So it's used. So all of this is in what's in that framework. And if we look.
So as you spoke on Tupac, let's look at that a little bit. He was contracted to 3 album deals. He dropped 2 at one time, and Machiavelli the contract would have been up. Are y'all aware of this? Am I correct in stating this? Or do anybody know?
Well,
Yeah, a
actually,
double
Mac
album.
would have been considered. It would have been what we consider today as a mixtape. It was a elite compilation. It was a body of
I'm
work that he
talking
was
about
working.
All Eyes on Me was a double CD. That's
Nah,
Yeah,
that don't count.
that was a
That
double
don't count.
CD, and after
Double CDs is like according to the contract. And I remember I was explaining this in detail. It was like if you choose to put out a double CD, that's on you. We only paying you for 10
so I don't,
records.
10 songs, right? Because anything over 10 songs,
That's on
anything
you.
over 10 songs is your that's on you. Because
Yeah.
the U.S. statute of law say you only have to be paid for that. Now we can consider it a double album. It's only one album. So
hmm
he put out those 20 songs. Then he put out a compilation that compilation, which would be Machiavelli with him and Outlaw. That was just something that he was doing. That was a body of work that he was creating for himself to say once he left Death Row. Actually, after he died, then they, you know what I'm saying, then it became a phenomenon. But other than that, he owed them 2 more albums. And see, here's the thing with that when you talk about albums. It's not an album till the company says an album. So Tupac
That's right.
had, well, we know Tupac worked on hella songs. So
Right.
by Tupac working on thousands and thousands of songs, it's still, although he presented the songs to Suge, he presented the songs to Drake, they still can say that's not a song. They still, and he present them with an album. They still have the power to say this is not an album. So now we Tupac that's gonna be sitting. Why he gonna be sitting? Because they make more money off of him, long as he part of their real estate. So that's. Then it becomes frustrating for the artist. This is where you get the juvenile
Black
put out.
slavery.
He say, well, if they gonna be playing me like that, then I'm gonna give them a whole lot of bullshit songs or whatever, and I'm gonna make them drop me.
It's like it's even like a sports player.
Some more doing that, but
Let's hear Royale on it, and then we're gonna go back to knowledge and let him drop some more of it, and we'll tune into it again. We'll speak on it again.
okay.
It's almost like a sports player. When you see these stats, they'll like a sports. You'll see a sports team that you think should be competing, but they'll make sure they have a horrible record just so they can get for the next year, so they could get that trade that they need, or they could get a draft pick. But they gotta be low in the overall stats. So they make sure they play their worst game. So it's the same deal when it comes to artists, that's bonded by certain contracts. And I consider, it's not I consider it. It's a fact. It's bondage. It's slavery. But it's not chattel slavery. It's a deal that you make, and a lot of people get man. It's just something to me personally where you should be able to make a deal and say, all right, we're going to do some business. Everybody get what they need out of it and move on. People look at it like a marriage instead of making a movie. I suggest from this day forth, anybody who hear this should look at it like making a movie opposed to being married, because you get these guys who's like, yo, I'm such and such for life. And no, man, because when something don't go right, then they get so upset and they be ready to kill everything in the office and be ready to kill people that they would have died for. So you got to look at it like,
You ready to dip?
yeah, just make a. When you making a movie, like Steven Spielberg don't say he owned Harrison Ford for the rest of his life. They did great business, and because they did great business, they go back to doing business with each other. So musicians. Because music is so, the arts are something that come out of emotion. Like you deal with a lot of emotion. It's something that comes from. It's a divine gift. So because it's a divine gift, people get attached to it in a spiritual way, where you can't tell them how not to be passionate. You can't tell them how not to look at it, as something that they should care about. But a lot of the guys look at it like you owe them something, like you owe me and it's like, yo, like, you know, we
So
all business, yeah, we all businessmen, you know, and everybody have this different talents, and it's about what you negotiate.
okay, let's go back to knowledge now. Knowledge, you got to put us back on track.
Can I make 2 points before you ask the next question, Carl?
Well, knowledge is controlling the conversation basically
Oh,
with what you're presenting right now. But I guess you can speak. We don't have no problem. We just
okay.
sit
Well,
here.
the points I was gonna make before brother knowledge change is we was talking about the album thing is for the people that's listening to this show to understand that you would want to sign for a yearly contract more or less than an album contract. Like I said earlier, it's not an album till they say it's an album. But if you under a yearly situation, 3, 4, 5 years will be over before you know it. That's all I wanted to say.
Mm.
Okay. And if you're on the phone call, if you can reach your mics, that'd be good. If you can reach your mics on the phone call. And if you want to speak, you could just unmute your mics and ask a question, whatever. This is a pretty open forum, so all you got to do is open them up and close them for us, muting them and open them. Knowledge, if you could, put us back on track, because we was talking about, you know, the contractual obligations of one that signs 2 albums, and I think DJ Black just explained, you know, the yearly thing and the album thing are 2 different things.
Right. And those was excellent points, and I'm glad that y'all brought that out. So the people that's out there that may be aspiring to get into those industries actually get a chance to see it. Because if you look at the entertainment industry as a whole, it's the same thing is done. You know, whether it's sports, uh, whether it's MCing, you know, whatever the case may be, it's that piece of paper that you have to sign. So if you looking to get drafted into the NFL, if you looking to get drafted into the NBA or to the major league baseball or hockey or soccer or any of those sports, it's the same kind of contract, and they got you. You see what I'm saying? Once you're in that contract, because you're not thinking about your best interest. You're not coming into it like a businessman, or woman. You're coming into it as a commodity. You see what I'm saying? You're coming into it as somebody who's looking to fulfill a need. So they're looking at you as capital. You see what I'm saying? So once we go to that, I just wanted to read capital. I wanted to read marketing mix. I wanted to read
Okay.
marketability to be able to kind of define what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right. So we look at capital. Capital is the wealth in the form of money or assets owned by a person or organization or available or contributed for a particular purpose, such as starting a company or investing. Uh, right. So we looking at assets. We're looking at money. So this are the things that they're seeing. They don't even see a person. You see what I'm saying? They don't even see a person. So You're not even looked at as a person. So when we look at the hip hop industry and we look at artists, you know, all they see is a paycheck or they see dollar signs. So they're coming into a situation very blind and very naive, as Royale put it. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's looking at terms that are beneficial to self. Everybody except the artist. There's nobody looking out for the artist, and the artist should be looking out for themselves going into the situation. You see what I'm saying? Like the whole dynamics of all of that has vastly changed over these last 10 to 15 years in regards to having a deal on a major record label in order to be successful too. So that's another thing people would need to look at, and I know DJ Black and Royale probably gonna go into that.
Let me ask a quick question right quick. This is where we get into voluntary and voluntary servitude, right? With
Yes.
the contractual issue.
the, I'm sorry, can be heard?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead, Black.
we'll go to
Yeah.
DJ Black, then we'll go to Royale, then we'll come back to Knowledge, because I believe this is the situation that we're looking at. And hopefully we can go back to, as my man Pac said once again, ain't nothing like the old school. So we can talk about how hip hop started and how the industry did do a lot of crimes to our people within contracts and things of that nature. So right now we're gonna talk about, the contracts as voluntary and involuntary servitude.
Okay. All right. So let's look at the services. It's a service publishing, and who the person who made us aware. I would say is three people that you can say that made us aware. It was the Temptations. In the 80s, they started looking at numbers that Michael Jackson and Tina Turner was putting up, and they said, "Hold on, we know we tour more than them, but however, we're talking about service. They putting out more services as far as making Christmas albums and albums on top of albums, doing background songs, singing for, but their monies is not matching up with Michael Jackson and Tina Turner." Then you move forward to the 80s, in the mid 80s, late 80s or whatever, when sampling started to get real big. Then James Brown, which was I would say he would be the dynamic for as far as hip hop sounds. So he started saying, hold on, all these hip hop people using my songs, why are they using my songs? So he had to go into looking at publishing. Then when you look at publishing, so what happens is Michael Jackson say, hey, publishing, oh yeah, that's a good money. So he ended up buying the Beatles catalog. That was the first catalog he bought. So when he started buying the Beatles catalog, what happens is you got all these executives or want to be executives say this right here. Well, if I can't get paid off the album sales, if I can't get paid off the shows, then I could get in on this publishing. So now publishing is like a big deal. So you hear people like now talk about Drake don't write his own rhymes or Puffy don't write his own rhymes. It's a person that's writing it because they in on the publishing, or they are obligated to a company for the servitude, for the services, to say, we give you X amount of dollars a month and you have to present us with these many songs. No matter who the song go to, this is who gonna have to rap the song. So if you put it, you send EMI, BMI, whoever you got your publishing situation with, you send them you send them your song, and then once you send them your song, you say, Britney Spears wrote that rap. Britney Spears, why Britney Spears? She sound like, Iggy Azalea. She doing, no, somebody, they are part of the same company that's acquired to give them material. And you have to, because of the contract, you have to provide the service, and you have to, you have to release these songs no matter who sing or rap your songs because of the publishing. And remember, we starting off with taking it all the way back to the Temptations, and we can even go as far as back as Little Richard, making these songs, and end up that Frank Sinatra or Elvis Presley is singing Little Richard songs, all the way up to now.
Okay, well, let's get back to that. Well, let's go to Royale right quick and let him speak on it, and then I'm gonna get right back to what you were saying. It depends on where Royale's saying where we're gonna go with this. Go ahead, Royale.
I mean, what you got me commenting on as far as
we talking about involuntary and voluntary servitude for us contractual rights and stuff in the hip hop industry.
I mean, we got to be fair that it's people will work for McDonald's, people will work for Subways, people will work for all type of crap jobs. It's just that. Again, music is tied to the emotion, and music is tied to the soul. Music is a spiritual thing. So my take on it is that because it stems from us, no matter how far back you go, we just lost the grip because we compromised ego, for the sake of For some it was fame, for some it was money, for some it was like I just don't like him and I don't want to do business with another black man, so I choose to. So it's a lot of the times when you look at the word involuntary servitude, this is voluntary servitude because you signed the contract. It's not like they was like, okay, this is your contract. We don't need you to sign it. This is your contract. Voluntary servitude is what it is. And most employment, that's what employment is. Employment is called voluntary servitude. Musicians have to. Music can be thought of like this. Music was always a form of communicating the message. Music is a way to carry the culture. So happen that when you get colonized and you get invaders and they seeing that you communicating and they see that you having so much fun on it, it's like the diamonds, it's like any other black mineral or black resource. Other people just want to capitalize on what we do naturally. Water, drinking water, air, food, shit that you do naturally. Somebody else is looking like, how can I control that situation? And other people are always looking to find a way to strategically remove us or remove the power from us and say, you got to come to us for the power. So where a lot of us are freestyling and giving up freestyle. I'll talk about my situation.
Yeah, man, bust a freestyle. I'm clowning.
I know.
but as they said, a white man hasn't created nothing but the patent office. So.
I don't think he didn't even create that. We can actually, if you keep digging, you'll realize like that's even,
So, but let's look at this as an industry thing, and I'm gonna bring knowledge back in with this. So, if we look at what DJ Black was saying for us, you got your songwriters, you got your beat makers, you got your clothing designers, you got your street teams, or you got your A&R people and different stuff. You got an industry now, and you got people that's just cranking out lyrics to a song, and then they telling this rapper, well, you rap them lyrics. And then they making an album and stuff. They're getting youngsters coming in, and they just got
factory. It's a factory.
Yeah, I was just gonna say an assembly line to create these different things and just get somebody and stick their face there on a Pharrell beat or on a Drake beat or on a And then they even got the ghost producers, not just ghost writers, where they make the beats and then say it's a Drake beat. So. Let's talk about the assembly line of the industry to pump out this material. If we can, if you got something that you can read on that, then that would be good. If not, you could just speak on it, and then we'll try to run it around again, and then we'll let you take us into the next stage of the,
Hey man, you got the experts right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting back taking notes off of what they saying. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well let's go to the experts, the insiders, DJ Black. And
let me read something real quick though. You see this, we describing a machine. You see what I'm saying? So the artists just become cogs in the wheel and not even root cause. You see what I'm saying? That the industry becomes the root, and the artists become like the leaves, and not even really the branches, because they just become the leaves, because the leaves fall off and there's another leaf to take its place. So when you look at it like that, if they don't maximize that ability to work through all of those specific chambers in the industry, then they won't have that ability. So what that does is, once they master that, they have the ability to increase their marketability. So marketability is a measure of the ability of the security to be bought and sold. There's an active marketplace for security. It has good marketability. Marketability is similar to liquidity, except liquidity implies the value of the security is that the value of the security is preserved, whereas marketability indicates that the security can be bought and sold easily. So then we get into marketability from an investment standpoint. So it's the same. If you sign a deal and you get an advance, you see what I'm saying? You get a loan and you have to pay that loan back. But you have to. There's things you have to do. Initially that you have to deal with, and you don't have that capital to even uh, procure those items. So now when you look at marketability in that regard, you saying that people are looking to see that what they put out there guarantees them or increases that back. They receive that back on return on investment. You see what I'm saying? So we looking at this industry and we see that it has nothing to do with music. It has and not in the way that we would think, in the sense that Royale was putting out about it being divine and having an emotional connection to your work and to your artwork. You see what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with that. They care nothing about that. So all they're looking for is return on investment. So there's no telling to what end or what comes through that industry. Just like that great analogy that y'all laid out about the factory, the warehouse. So if you look at it in terms of logistics, you have two types of warehouses. You have third-party logistics where a product comes in and then it just goes through those particular processes from inbound to outbound. And then you have a manufacturing plant where something comes in and it's made from start to finish. Like it starts there, and then that product goes all the way out. So you take in raw material, and then at the end of the assembly line, you have a product, versus a product that comes from a third party and it's just routed through. So you see the semblance of both of those in the industry. So just looking at that and increasing, when you put all these other factors in, customer wait time and all of those things, when you look at it from an industry perspective, you see all of that whole thing. And the other thing I wanted to read before we get in to something else is marketing mix, because we still dealing with that factor from economy to education to entertainment. All right, the marketing mix is, I'm gonna read that definition real quick. A planned mix of the controllable elements of a product's marketing plan, commonly termed the four P's. The four P's are product, price, place, and promotion. These four elements are adjusted until the right combination is found, which serves as the which serves the needs of the product's customers while generating optimal income. Sometimes the first P product is substituted by a presentation. So we're looking at that in regards to the Business Dictionary on businessdictionary.com of marketing mix. So all of these factors are what the industry uses to market these products. You see what I'm saying? So again, it's not even the personal stance that's involved. They're not vested in the individual. They're invested in the individual's talent and ability to market that talent and increase the bottom line and increase the profit or the return on the initial investment that's made.
Good detailed terminology and stuff there. So
Okay.
now, do y'all really want to stay right here on the industry where we at, or do y'all want to try to?
I want.
Go ahead, Black, if you want to speak.
Yeah, I wanted to speak on the marketing thing, and then to also to the listeners. A lot of the listeners, a lot of the unlearned, they may say, the white man controlled this. Now let's look at the history of it. When you heard of yeah,
You breaking up some. Black, you breaking up some now. I don't know if you didn't change your position and your location.
when you heard of all these people back in all those white man MTV and stuff, that's when it was.
Black,
That was so.
Black,
Yeah,
1 second. Can you hear me?
okay.
Yeah, wait 1 second. You might want to change your position in some, and you might want to start over because you was breaking up. We missed a lot of that beginning.
Can you hear me now?
You're good.
All right. Well, I was talking about the age of you talking about the white man controlling the business, and this is for the listeners. You know, the white man did at one time control the business, and you know, during the time of X-Clan, Rakim, and all this stuff, even Outkast. You know, this was the time that we had a lot of the knowledge being pushed in hip hop, which we call, you know, what we felt like was the epitome during the time of Nas and all this. Now you had an age of you know, during the Up in Smoke tour with Rockefeller, Death Row, and all these people. You know, what happens is we started complaining about the white man having his palms in on everything. So what the white man do? He stepped back and he said, you know what? I'll give them control over everything. So now we have our Master P's and so on and so forth, to where they making X amount of dollars, we making X amount of dollars. We could control owning our own masters, you know. So to say what we are going to market and what we're going to put out, this, that, and the third. So what happens is the decline of record sales. Now, when the white man controlled it, when he had control over it, you had folk from Outkast to LL Cool J to Two Live Crew, all these people, they were going platinum. You know, they selling hella records. When the white man stepped back, it started to decline. It started to be, you know, excuse me, audience, it started to be nigga business. You know, when it started to be nigga business, then what happens is, you know, now you know, the producers ain't coming to the studio. We just grab a beat from somebody. We go to the studio, and a lot of these artists are self-produced. You know, so now how they're going to market the business. No producer is involved now. We got the person who wrote the music, who thought out what he wanted to be on his music, the type of lyrics he wanted on his music, the direction he was going to. He's not in the picture anymore. So now he's excluded or whatever. So since he's excluded, and then back to the publishing point, you know, a lot of these executives, they got some of the artists publishing. They also, you know, the producer is excluded or whatever. So it's like, and ain't no records being sold. So now we got to get into, okay, what type of marketing dollars we get? We call it today. We use the term 360. That's a misnomer. It's actually called the 1920s contract. The 1920s contract was contracts for artists like Sammy Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra, to where they did albums, they did movies, and they also did appearances. And when you do appearances, they got this thing called a blanket license. You know, so when the blanket license mean I could go to do the Super Bowl and I could sing a Jay-Z song, and because of the blanket license or whatever, Jay-Z get paid, the record company get paid, and the artist get that little money up front. And we have to also understand through this right here is how they determining how they're going to market you. I'm just trying to stick with what Knowledge was talking about, the marketing, you know. So it's like, okay, how could we market this? How could we make X amount of dollars? You know.
Well, look, let's deal with the terminology though. With the 360, that means pretty much everything you do in whatever circular way that they get money. If you make an appearance, if you write something, if you do this, whatever you do or whatever you have your hand in, that's how you take it back to the
1920s contract, right? That's how you tie them back into the night. So they pulled up the 1920s contract, and a lot of people, you know, they started to sign them or whatever. And it's kind of crazy for anybody to sign a 1920s contract if you're not that hot, to say, if you don't have, if you're not that talented as far as being able to sing, act, dance, and host. Do a whole lot of host of things. If you're not able to do those things, then it's like you really, back to what you were saying as far as the servitude, is then it becomes involuntary servitude, because now you have to do these things in order to be marketed. In order for these people to market you, you have to say, since they got a BET Awards coming,
a Jim Crow. Basically, you got to become a song and dance person and do the love and hip hop and things of that nature.
I could be considered to host the BET Awards.
Okay.
They gonna get paid. Everybody gonna get paid from me hosting the BET Awards.
Okay, you breaking up again too.
I didn't understand you.
Okay,
I didn't understand. You said.
I'm saying you breaking up. Somebody breaking up the connection or whatever. But anybody else know about this and want to speak on it?
Yeah, what I like is you say, well, one of the things with the 360 contract first, the reason why it's the 360 contract is important for people to recognize, or the 1920s contract, like DJ Black was saying, is because a lot of people, like a while ago, I was when I come across this information, realizing like we're taught 100% is good enough. Then we wonder why we're like 30 on the education throughout the nations. We're ranked number 30 because 100% is actually still incomplete. Because now when you look at it, when you hit 33% and you hear 10%, so forth and so on, then now you get in these contracts and they say not 360%. Then you're like, oh, there is this is why there's always somebody else making bread on you, because you sign in for 100% and there's two other hundreds that you was missing out on and somebody else is capitalizing on. And another thing DJ Black touched on, which is was the fact that when it's us who's making money, then the industry's no good. Like right now, they bring in, the big thing is, we bringing back vinyl. How many black people own vinyl companies? How many black people do you know own a digital platform, a cloud industry? The ever-changing digital, very little. And the ones who are smart enough to do it usually work for somebody else. So we know brothers who can build great websites, but they don't own the platform that they building the website on. So now here, the only thing that we can control and control our own revenue, control our own resources, control from almost beginning to end is CDs, tapes, but not too many people gonna. I don't want to say not too many people gonna buy tapes. Not too many people have tape players, but a lot of people still have DVD and CD players. So here they're trying to move you away from what you can what you can control, and you can service people directly. Meaning, I have this record, you can buy it directly from me. I don't have to go through iTunes or any other third party to get this record to you. I can give it directly to the DJ. DJ can play what he wants off of what I service him, and then we have a business going. But what's happening is they're creating all the new computers. All the new computers you'll see, most of the new computers don't even have CD or DVD slots. Most of the new devices don't come with slots for you to load in even USBs, because again, you can control what you put on these portable devices. So, but when it's back convenient, like, now that we own all the platforms, and now that we own all the clouds and we own all the vinyl shops, ain't black people out there, well, a lot of the Jamaican artists started getting some of the vinyl pressing, some of the vinyl pressing stuff, but that shit is expensive, man. Making a DVD is not as expensive. And you can, so think about it. You sell a CD for $10 or a DVD for $10 or $20 or whatever you're moving it for, and that money comes directly to you. But most people look at it like, CDs is played. CDs are not played out, because if the game that you buy comes up on a DVD or CD play on a CD, and you pay $60 for the same CD, $60 for the same movie that Hollywood puts out that your face ain't in or your people were slaves in. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much Deep nailed it when he was like, yeah, when it's us who are in control, then all of a sudden the industry is in turmoil. How nobody's buying records, but when they get a grip of it, then all of a sudden, wow, this great surge in, and record sales and so forth and so on. Pretty much the entire world is living off of black music. The entire world is living off of black music. Music in general, but all of that stems from us. The entire world is revolving around music. Like, you turn on the commercial, music. There's more people who love music than there's drug addicts. You got what I'm saying? So most of our people will get into being a drug dealer.
So let's go back into old school mode. I don't know what has to read over there, but let's just go back to, as I was breaking down when we started before y'all came in, the elements of hip hop. You had breaking, rapping, graffiti, DJing, and I guess those was the great 4 elements.
Well, what you said? You said breaking, graffiti,
rap,
dance,
and DJing.
Okay, yeah, break, dance, graffiti, the MC, the DJ. And the what we call the 5th one, we always brothers. There's the 5th one. I always it's something simple, but is the 5th element of whatever. Anyway,
doctrine, but nah, that's not it.
It's knowledge.
Exactly.
The 5th element is knowledge.
So now that then turned into street knowledge, street language, street fashion, and street entrepreneurship. With KRS-One bringing the 9 elements of hip hop into play. I don't remember exactly when he brought that in, but breaking, MCing, graffiti, DJing, beatboxing, street fashion, street language, and street knowledge, as well as street entrepreneurship. And I think street entrepreneurship was always there, street marketing, promotion, this and that, because people made flyers, they went to their rec rooms, they stole electricity, and they produced a street jam, a party. The MC'd, and everybody did their thing. It wasn't called an industry at that time, but everybody had their niche of what they did within the culture. Then the fashion people, for us, the people that was making the drug dealers' clothes, you see Rock Kim looking like, the big, the Dapper Dan, the fashion and stuff. So with this history, we had our own thing in our own communities where we was using the breaks, or even when Melly Mel and all of them started really, using the sampler and stuff and really chopping up them breaks, with the chopping coming into DJing, into production and stuff, people chopping up the beats, chopping out sounds and creating their own sounds and their own styles and stuff, and their own fashions and things. Now, this was community-based. So we are talking about hip-hop in the industry, right? The industry crimes against the community. But let's talk about mentoring people on how to write a rap, how to chop up beats and look for samples and create this industry or this community thing that we could do for ourselves. And, the griots and the voices that we have, where we could talk about different people in the community and different things and really educate ourselves for us. The knowledge, the 5th one, educate ourselves about what's going on. Do you have something talking about that knowledge?
Yeah, let me do this. If you don't love the craft, stay out of it, please. We don't need any more bums coming in trying to feed and manipulate a bad situation and making it worse. If you don't like music, you don't like the craft, you don't like artists, you don't like inconsistency, you don't like dealing with people with emotional problems, this is not the industry for you. So again, you know, people think it's a magic wand. You come in, you know, you have this one great song, you have this one great idea, and you think it's a magic wand. Everybody's supposed to just, you know, get in formation or fall in line because of this. And when they don't, you have a tantrum and you hate everybody, and then you cause problems. But if you love what you do and you plan on, and you know this is your blessing or this is your calling, just know that you have to look out. You have to remember one key thing: misery love company. So you'll have people that you might have a great idea, but somebody might, you know, attempt to shoot your idea down so they can take it. There's a quote in the Bible that have where they say they'll act like it's not a big deal, but then they go off like, oh, look what I got, you know. And you have to look at it like you have to keep all of these things in mind as an artist. Especially for, you know, I would tell you that because I came in, you know, and my energy was always like, my focus was just the fact that I'm super talented. Like I can do this and I can do whatever I want. And I, you know, to the highest degree, and I know it's divine and so forth and so on. But then when you run into these people that are so jaded, you know, you have to make that don't rub off on you. So when you love what you do, you know, as far as like coming up with ideas and coming up with beat ideas and coming up with song concepts and so forth and so on, if you really, you know, take this serious, we can, you know, and you get past all of that, the next step would be studying the elders, studying the ones that came before you, not just Rakim, not just Jay-Z or Nas or whoever else, and not just that. You got to go all the way back to Chuck Berry, go all the way back to blues, go all the way back to go just keep digging, search all the music. You know, black people feel like, oh, rock and roll is not, you know, I don't got to study that. Where do you think rock and roll come from? You know, we always complain, yo, they took our music, they're taking rap. All of the music comes from us, so you got to study everything and don't look at it like, well, I'm the first one to do such. Don't look at it like that. You got to look that there's somebody, the blueprint prior to you, and study what they did right, study, you know, what they did wrong, so you can, you know, focus more on picking up that torch. And I would suggest when it comes to production and song making or whatever the case is, there's a lot of greed is what in this industry right now. Greed is rocking this industry because everybody just, it's so much money in music that there's people that's just looking for a fast dollar. So that's where I was saying this whole freestyle thing where I did a freestyle like 2009 over a throwaway Kanye West beat, you know, and I just got flagged for it like a couple of days ago. Like that shit was it was a throwaway. I wasn't looking to make no money from it. I just, you know, it was just something for the people or whatever the case is. So it's a big thing with sampling and stuff like that right now. Mm-hmm. I think what it is the industry and the people just want something new, you know, so we're opposed to just sampling. And, you know, I think the rap industry or the hip hop in general is like a crowded club that's overcrowded, you know. And there's other houses, there's other clubs that's open, but this one was packed to capacity, and people were even laying on top like crowd surfing, and people
that's why I was getting into it, because I believe the birth of hip hop and what was going on at the time, like you say. I got a whole stash of records, and when you're going through records, you get the history and you get to hear the lyrics, which helped you write lyrics. You get the story behind why these lyrics came about. You get the producers. Like there's actually a producer from Chicago with my name. You know what I'm saying? And I'm reading the record one day, and I'm like, hold up.
This.
So you get to do history. You get to study the Motown sound, you get to study the Stax sound, you get to study the Philadelphia sound, you get to study these musicians and who was the drummer, Clyde Stubblefield, or this and that, and who was the bass player, you know, all these different artists that played on James Brown stuff and who was writing this stuff. So you get this stuff.
Yeah, let me do.
Get into that part. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
I have a see my I got my cheat code is like my great uncle is like a jazz legend, you know, like a jazz legend, and his father was a jazz legend. So I was able as a child to be able to sit on some of the sessions, and that's where my love for it came, and the history of that's what, you know, it's just everybody have a different way that they study, so I can't just tell you in particular like, yo, just go do this one way, this is the way. It's not making cookies, it's not, you know, like building cars. It's music, it's energy. So there's no one set way for any and everybody to win. You know, all we doing is, you know, all I could do is just give hints and suggestions of find your voice, find your way, and if this is something that you love, you won't be deterred or, you know, by any obstacle. But when it comes to, you know, nowadays the technology is there. You got to think at the reason why I say go back is because we had less to work with. You know, it was still war, it was still racism, it was still so many different things that came into play. But you had you had the element of all the, you know, actual talent and musicians. Nowadays, there's some talented musicians, but we have tools and we have endless tracks, and so everybody is just looking for that new sound. So that's a reason why black artists may feel unnecessary pressure, because people rely on us to be innovators so they can copy off of what to do next. So really, that's why, you know, the industry is putting so much on hip hop artists and black artists, and you know, unfortunately, you know, it's an unnecessary pressure, because you're getting people that's not even in it, you know, for the sake of the creative, you know.
But I don't think that people allowing stuff to be free. The things you can sample and just play out on the street, it's not stuff you can sample and put on the radio. So when you put it back into the exclusive, huh?
No, I was saying what you mean as far as sample. What do you mean?
It's like if you're a DJ and you chopping up a break beat, it don't mean you can chop that break beat up and have somebody rap over, because then they'll say you using my break beat, which is a sample, and I need to get paid for that because you're making buku dollars on the radio with it. But if you're doing it localized in a talent show or whatever, or doing it at the park jam, you know, it might be a hood phenomenon for everybody.
I'm gonna tell you that the answer to that today is put it like this: I produce, I write, whatever the case is, right? So now, say DJ Black said, "Hey, every Friday I got these shows, right? And I need a section, you know, where I could just play instrumentals, you know, where I can talk over or DJ, or I just need this promo," because really that's how hip hop started. You bigging up the DJ, and all of a sudden, you know, the MC becomes, you know, the star of the show, you know. But before, it was just because it was the DJ who had all the music, you know, had all the records or whatever. So it's, to me, way around, you know, being bombarded with copyright infringement is, it's a trillion producers and artists out here that that have so much talent. You know, you just say, hey, look, do deals with them, like, yo, give me a certain amount of beats or whatever, and I'll give you a certain amount of spins during my set. You know, and then you don't got to worry. Not saying we don't want James Brown or Michael Jackson or whoever else to get, you know, publishing, but, you know, with so much pressure being put on us and unnecessary lawsuits, to avoid all of that, you know, you can make something new, you know, and just keep it moving, you know, make
it's
something
about
new.
doing the underground thing, I believe. But we're gonna let Black get in. I believe it's about being underground again, because the thing is, when they can't find it, they can't do nothing about it. But when you put it out there on the mainstream, you know, they watching and listening, and they gonna come for you. They got them cops out there, you know. You can't.
They watching and listen when it's till it hits a certain number.
Right.
Right.
For some, it's under 5,
that.
for some it's under 5. For some it's under 10,000. For some it's 15. For some it's 100,000. So it just depends on what you took, what you're doing, who you are, and, you know, like, you know, for me, shit, if I hit 100 views with a freestyle, I get all different type of companies and artists like, no, stop. I'm like, I thought you wanted it to be popular, you know. But you know, but you know, go ahead, brother. You can wrap on.
What I was gonna say is this right here, and you know, like to go back to the chopping up records. The chopping up records happened because we didn't have back in those times access to studios or access to musicians. Now during the age of technology, you could go online and all you gotta Google you can post on your Facebook who plays the bass, who plays the violin, who plays a clarinet or what have you. So even if you decided to chop up somebody's song or whatever, and you know you wanted to get the sample cleared, but the people don't want to clear the sample, then you know you can reach out to musicians now to say, I need somebody to come in and replay this bass line. I need somebody to come in and replay this guitar line or piano line.
What I'm pushing more is people being able to sit down in their homes again, 4 or 5 brothers, sit down listening to albums and stuff, finding, you know, different riffs and different sounds, as well as listening to music together and building a community and going out and presenting that to the community and said, look what we did. Look at our artistic skills with these records and with these sounds that we collected from these records and things of that nature. And look at the conversation when Rakim was saying, I know you got soul. They was sampling soul music and things that moved the crowd and really had soul in them. Off of vinyl, which has a sound different than the digital world.
Right. And this is why I agree with you on that. So my thing is, see, nowadays, because of you know, our brother James Brown, may he rest in peace, because he came to the forefront and said, hey, all these hip hop guys are getting money from my records and I'm not eating from them, you know. Then you have all the other people from the 60s and the 70s and the 80s now that says, hey, y'all got to pay us for it. Y'all got to clear this sample. So you say you take 4 or 5 guys and we create a sound. And you say, look what we created. Now what happens is the people who actually created the record, or we sampled the record from, they say, DJ Black, Royale, Knowledge, Israel Doctrine, we want 90% of this song. We own this song. By the court of law, they will win. It's the same thing that happened with Pharrell and Robin Thicke.
I understand that too. That's when you're trying to be popular, and that's when you're trying to be a part of the industry.
You know,
stations. When you have underground radio, and you under the radar, and you making your monies, and you putting the songs out there, and you actually performing now, going from state to state, town to town, it's hard for them to find you playing any kind of sample or anything to say you must pay us for the usage of that.
Okay, so if you keep it under the radar, then that's one thing. But if you're trying to if you're gonna
sell your soul, because we just talked about involuntary servitude. If you want to go sign a contract and sell your soul and sell everything that you are, your image, your name, your whatever, to a company, then yes. Now you're in the industry, and now you're dealing with people that deals with sample clearing, this, that, and everything else to create this sound or to create this music. But when you're doing it yourself, when them guys was doing that, wasn't nobody talking about they're sampling my music, because they didn't even know they was using their music to do nothing with it. It's the crowd that was there that heard this certain sound and was saying, is that a so-and-so sample? What did he do with that? And how did he create this sound? And the creation of that was the movement. It was the heartbeat of the community. And certain people had certain samples they had that people didn't know what album he got it off of. Then you got people now telling you, well, he used so-and-so breakbeat. And that's that's a so-and-so breakbeat. So when you had it where people weren't telling, and it was like Royale said earlier, it was a craft. And you had to be initiated into it, and you had to come up under a certain master or a certain teacher that taught you about certain stuff. Like these records here are like the heartbeat of my sound.
Right, and hot scratch and all that stuff. Right. So okay. So let me say it like this then, Israel. What you have now is being the party. So we can talk about the party, and the radio. So the party is now the club, So more or less than you being able to just, bring the party to your house or whatever, and we could get into the real estate thing as far as homeowners association, or even in the projects or whatever, or the housing authority or whatever. People can't do parties anymore like they used to back then. So now you got to take the party to somebody's building. When you take the party to somebody's building, now in order for you to get this person's building to do your party, you got to say, now I got to promote this party. So once you promote this party, you have to start dealing with radio. And when you start dealing with radio, the party, it gets a bit outrageous. So it's like, it kind of like the whole rug for the original way of doing hip hop has been swept off and under our feet, as far as, the whole business of it, to say that we was able to, plug up to a light pole and bring out the turntable and
Breaking up
everybody come grill some food and this, that, and the third. Now don't get
you breaking up some, bro. You breaking up.
You still got like days. I'm sorry.
You breaking up some.
Oh, okay, Cap. All right. So down here in Atlanta, we got these things called like Glenwood Day, Edgewood Day, and so on and so forth. Well, it's kind of like it brings it back to the party, to where people can, people in the community can come.
Back to being a community in the neighborhood and people being able to go outside with some new kicks on and stuff and look good and meet the little girl down the street that they like and see if they can dance with her. You
Right.
go to places today, they just want them to bend over and bust it open and all of that. It ain't no slow dancing, it's no this and that. So all I'm saying is, fuck the industry stuff. Let's get back to underground and community stuff and having community things. This is where the RBG rappers is coming in, and different stuff. We have to look at it as destroy the industry, go back to underground stuff and things, and that's why I'm trying to take the conversation. Because if
Right. So then we will have to kill what we call the DJ now, because the DJ is only going to play. He gonna play Gucci Man, and then he gonna go to if he go to play.
It's called a revolution, man. It's called a revolution. You
Right.
don't have to put the DJ. You just got to put a different type of DJ out there and get people to go that way.
Right. So what I was about to say, my point is, the DJ calls himself keeping his dance flow going. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we want to put a different type, like show these folk this dance, So like, this is how the Soldier Boy gets created. This is how
the DJ can save your life or the DJ can kill your life. Because in the South, when I first came back and it was who's the boss, let me break them off and all of this and tear the club up, thugs and all of that, the DJ could actually in your life that night and get you
Right.
shot in the club and get you killed. When security step up, we'll fuck them up and all that. That could actually get you killed. So the DJ can either save your life or kill you. That's all you're saying now. And I agree 100% with you. Meaning
Right.
that DJ had, as Royale said so nicely earlier, he controlled the crowd. The MC also has something to do with it, but the DJ has the microphone. And the rapper has to come get the mic. The DJ said, no, you can't get the mic. So he is the say-so.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, you're not in a position to bring that type of message on this stage because I run this stage.
Mm-hmm.
So we get you off the stage and we put another MC up there with the message and the communication and the conveyance of what we are as a people and as a community. Now we're taking hip-hop back. Hip-hop is no longer dead as Nas said. We taking it back and we putting, like the dry bones in the valley, we putting skin on it and we putting tissue and we making a live entity again and not a dead soul or whatever.
Like, I'm gonna give you a point. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my phone right.
Quiet down and stuff. So 415, you a part of it too, and whoever out there listening, you can call in 312-985-7856. That's 312-987-7856. No, 985-7856. Go ahead.
Hey, let Black get his point out, man. That brother was dropping some jewels. Go ahead, Black.
All right, so what I was saying is like, if you look at the movie NWA, when Cube was first introduced to the stage or whatever, and you look at the owner of the club was telling Dre, hey man, I don't want to hear that tonight. I want to keep, it's a mass of that. So it's like we have to take, if we want to, and it's the thing, if we want to stop the way that hip hop is portrayed to the community, then we have to take that power out of the club owner hand and the promoter, because whoever rocking that door that night, the DJ gonna play. Rael know what I'm talking about. If whoever promoting that club, the DJ gonna play what the promoter say, because he own that door for the night. All those people coming in that club, coming in because the promoter and his crew been sitting out invites to those people. So it's like, who promoting the party? Who's gonna promote the barbecue?
Believe me, I know that's part of my business. I've been a part of the hip hop scene for a long time, and I know about the MCing, the DJing, the break beats, the chopping, the production, and all of that. I'm just not great at all of it. But for us having the ear and the eyes and the see and how things moving, as I say, I never been in a party when it broke out that I got my head busted and all that, because I could tell when the DJ is cranking it up and he ain't slowed it down, and these people got this liquor in their system, and pretty soon they gonna erupt because you done took them up too high, and there's no way. The only thing they can do is get the fighting and sweating and bottles flying and stuff, because they don't know where else to go. They done turned.
Then the DJ put on the 666 Mafia song. Tell the club, oh shit, it's over with now, because he took it to the height. Or even if you in New York,
this is
if you're in New York, they put on the MOP song.
Right, but this is the thing when it comes to community organizers and elders in the community, to be able to say you could put on this park jam or you could put on this thing. And then they putting it in the hands of those that they know are responsible enough to have it in their hands. Even if you're going to have community watch, you don't put guns in everybody's hands. No, you're not responsible. You get a light and you get a billy club. You don't get a gun. We just leave it you like that, because you're not responsible enough to have a gun. So this is where the elders in the community, people come in, and city council or wherever, Barrow or whatever you come in, they allow you to do things because they know who's the promoter, this and that. And this is the thing when you doing community stuff. The community knows, and the DJ or whoever in that community knows who's worthy to get on the mic in their conversation and their lyrics, because they sitting in the studio with them. They're talking. They know everybody's that's involved. Now, if I bring somebody from New York, I don't know what vibe they coming with or what they bringing, unless they stuff is played and somebody that sent me some of their stuff, and I listen to it, then I say, okay, this is cool for my community. They're talking about things that's uplifting and conveying and a message that's conducive to the growth and development or the cultivation of the minds of our youth. You know what I'm saying? Now we controlling hip hop again, because we controlling the market. We controlling what's going on, and we're letting things into our markets, so on and so forth. When them folks, when them GDs said Rick Walsh was, don't play him at the club, don't do this, don't do that, because he owed Larry some money. Hey, that stuff got shut down because them people controlled it at that time, not the industry, not this and that. When they say you can't come to no flight zone, and these community people and these people in this state, in this town, or this country, or whatever say no, that's it. That's the power we have as a people and as a community. You know what I'm saying? Boycott it. These are the things we got.
Hey, man, I agree. Well, I agree so hard with you. The thing is the TV media made us so afraid of the gangs to say that we need to allow these gangs to police our party. if we allowed it to happen, then you give these people a position of responsibility. So now they responsible for this. They responsible for the children that's here. They're responsible for if the weed smoke gets started. They responsible for this stuff. But we have to. But the thing about it is, we too much industry, TV, television industry, and radio industry has stopped that. It's like, the Black Panther thing. It's like they put a bad stigma on the Black Panther. Then the movie Colors.
Right, but we can't worry about that, man. Them people control stuff because people watching them. If I had 1 million people watching this right now, I would be controlling and running stuff. But I don't have 1 million people watching this. So what we saying here is not feeding to 1 million people. It might make it to 1 million people, but right now it's only saying 7 live views, and then we got 1 call. You know what I'm saying? We're not reaching 1 million people, but that don't mean that someone is not watching this and not gonna share it later or come watch it later when they see this. So the thing is, we can't worry about what other people and what they put on us. We have to start putting images out there on all the networks that we have, due to Knowledge, Israel Doctrine, Black Intelligentsia, and Black Eye Stand, and the different things that we got, and we dictate what it is. This is what Pan-Africanism was supposed to be about. This is what RBG is supposed to be about, which is the colors of the flag of the Pan-African. As Roy said on Sonetta when I was over there on Royale Entertainment and whatever the name of the channel is and stuff, you know what I'm saying? That, hey, at the end of the day, Marcus Garvey just had a little printing press, and he had millions and millions of people that was Garveyites, that was in his organization. How did he do this? Because the power of word of mouth and the strength of the message. When it went out, it was unstoppable.
Yeah, I was just agreeing with you, though. I was agreeing with you as far as when you was talking about, how the one dude in Atlanta, how he started it up. He was a GD. He started it up, and it resonated to Chicago as far as no Rick Ross stuff, and then the community backed them on that. You know what I'm saying? What I was saying was, we could, if we put a certain thing out there, we put a certain energy out there to say we don't want this type of stuff, then the community is gonna back us. But the thing about it is to speak up, so we won't continue to create this crime. What's the title of the show? So we won't continue to have crime from the industry, or from the rap industry.
Yeah, we just talking about the hip hop industry and they crime against the black community, because they done took hip hop and they done made it industry. They done made it an industry. So now you do have people that just playing roles in the industry and helping a product go out on the assembly line. But just like cars, you have to do text marketing. You can't just put that car out there on the road and then now every time they hit brakes, the brakes don't work and everybody die. That's the thing with the album. As I said, I gave one of my buddies a DMX. It was the gray one. It's probably his 3rd album or whatever. I gave him a DMX and gave him Roots of Strategy. He started robbing the liquor store. Hold up. You need DMX. I wasn't going to listen to DMX because just like Pac and this and that, the energy and the spirits and the words that he talking in there would do something to you and do something to your character. So once again, I put a gun in his hand and then realized he didn't need a gun in his hand. Like, you incapable of listening to this music. It'll do something to you that might be ill. It might be fatal. So I don't give you this. You're not able to listen to it and take the content and put it in a positive way or let it be conducive to the side of you that you want it to be conducive to, but you got to know when to do that. You know what I'm saying? You got to know when to kill. I don't teach you to kill and you just go out and start killing people. No, it's a time to do this. This is why you're getting this skill, or this is why you're getting this knowledge, and this is why you're getting this understanding. So you will be illuminated and you will be in the know when it's time to do these things. You will know how to do them. Don't be ignorant. That's why you teach your children how to shoot guns and do this and do that. But with this knowledge comes responsibility, and that's what a lot of people fail to realize, when they go get Fruity Loops and stuff. Yeah, you done learned how to do your little Fruity Loops, this, that, and do this stuff. But now you have a responsibility to put out something that's conducive and that's conveying a message that's for us, the cultivation of our community, not the destruction of our community. You can find a black person, they don't know how to build a house and put a roof on a house, but they can show know how to get a sludge hammer, go in there and tear one down.
Right. I agree totally.
Mm-hmm.
I agree
Well, I
totally.
ain't supposed to be talking that much, but y'all got me passionate there for a second. I'm going to calm down and y'all go ahead.
You got it, Rocket. I mean, right now, when you look at what's going on, what they got this Justice for Flint, and they're using musicians to spearhead it. This, you know, I use my little clever way to push people into that one, because I seen at the top of the year, you know, you had Spike Lee and a couple of other brothers, you know, that was going hard on, yo, there was 150 killings in Chicago. So I would just respond to them saying, okay, you gotta know how they got in that position, you know, how they was kind of herded to that position. And I use the example of Flint, because Chicago was herded into living on top of each other in these horrible conditions. And now, you know, all people talk about is, oh, they're just killing each other. So what happened when they poisoned their water in Chicago? You know, they poisoned an entire project building, you know. And then, you know, when you killed God knows how many people, had the other ones move into a neighborhood that they had no idea about the terrain of the people there. And then you got the mob, and you got the government, and you got all of these different things coming into play to put so much pressure on the community. And then you got them dropping off guns and dropping off. You got these agents, you know, that you know, create gangs or join gangs and create situations, and just to magnify a bad situation. And then we just talk about, oh man, there's so much killing, the neighborhoods is horrible or whatever. So now, when they started bringing up that, you know, as far as saying like, oh, you know, the Chicago killing, I'm like, oh, they doing to Flint what they did to Chicago. You know, they doing to Flint what they did to Detroit. They doing to Flint. So now, you know, I guess when, you know, these entertainers, you know, kind of realize like, wait, you know, they're poisoning water, and, you know, realize that it wasn't just me saying it, it's like mainstream talking about it, that, you know, they kind of jump behind, okay, we're going to do this Justice for Flint, which is awesome, because because that just shows the power of the music, can make or break a situation, you know, like you were saying with the DJ, it can make or break a situation when you're in a smaller, tighter area. But, you know, the responsibility of our people in our community is, you know, we have to do so much. We got much responsibility when it comes to, you know, what comes in and out of our neighborhood. We got to keep that in mind, like you said, when it comes to a young man or woman becoming a writer or a producer or a singer or a rapper, or, you know, whatever else they choose to become within this, you know, within this craft. But at the same time, the whole bottom line is the fact that music was always meant to convey a message and carry the culture, and teach them how to define what's right or wrong, stories, metaphors, so, you know, different allegories to for the next generation or for the living generation, to say, oh, you know, to relate to motivate them. And, you know, anything other than that, it you know, gets tricky, because when you're dealing with somebody who's supposedly saying they control that situation, they manipulate your magic, and then you wind up using that in a destructive manner. So now we got, now we have you know, we just have a situation where more people have no choice but to pay attention to react, because they don't have the record sales anymore. You know, they don't have any more you know, like a lot of the guys that was forced on us, a lot of the artists that we might not have liked or liked, you know, don't have the record sales because of the major corporations are pulling back from them because, you know, they have a new agenda. The new agenda is, you know, poison the community. You know, the new agenda is you know, create large distractions opposed to talking about topics or dealing with a, you know, with a topic the way a Curtis Mayfield might deal with it, the way a Sam Cooke or a James Brown or so many other artists, you know, like the music wasn't corny, but it was conscious. Like the music was so conscious and it was dealing with real life. And the beats was amazing. The lyrics was great and catchy and simple. And, you know, but now it was like, you know, to be in that conscious lane. And, you know, a lot of people feel like, oh, where's the money going to come from? Or how's this going to happen? Because a lot of the people that, you know, we would consider conscious artists are not entertaining. They're just, it's like boring to listen to or over preachy, you know, and, you know, and it's done at the wrong times. Like there's a time and place for everything. The industry is large enough where there's where we don't have to want whoever's the largest artist to be like we don't need you know, say Kendrick Lamar to be 2 Chainz. We don't need him to do that. I look at it like boxing. There's different classes, different divisions. So you got a lightweight division, you got a middleweight, you got a heavyweight division, you know, and rap music have proven itself to be so large that it is carrying the industry. It is carrying entertainment right now. Rap music is entertainment, you know, or hip hop is entertainment. And at this point, you know, before, you know, we shift genres or switch up, you know, hit them with the crossover or whatever the case is. Before we do that, you know, we have to know how much relies on us being maintaining the integrity of our people and of our bottom line mission, which we talked about before. It's the main thing is, you know, the mission. Yeah, we can have some fun right now. You know, we can still be adults and have fun. It's not about, you know, if a 16-year-old don't like it, then it's no good. Like as if when you become an adult, music disappears. Right. Because like that's how they project it to most artists, and that's why the industry seems like it's in turmoil, because you got, you know, adults, you know, grown men and grown women don't know how to entertain children. You know, they looking to entertain children, or they looking to put children to the forefront of our industries. When you only had, you know, Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder were I don't want to call them, you know, freaks, but they were like, you know, they were unique situations where you had them child prodigies that was able to pull off adult music. Nowadays, They just feel like any child, you know, because they coming from some of the factories that we talked about, where it's like, nah, just, you know, write the song, do the beat, put the little, you know, the young dude in front, and then, you know, let them, but they can't even come into the club. So it's like, you know, a lot of people don't take, you know, some of the most obvious things into consideration when it comes to our music and it comes to our industry. There's a time and place for children's music. There's a time and place for adult music. There's a time and place for everything. And we just have to know, we just got to organize more. I think that's where, you know, where it's really at. We have to organize more. Like you said, we got to take responsibility. We got to keep all of these things in consideration. Damn, you know, we can make money from CD sales and other tangible items. You know, merchandising is another thing, you know, people have to get into consideration. But
right.
It's just something where, you know, music is just, I always looked at it as a launching pad for, you know, everything else. And just because it's the launching pad, or it's the, you know, the gas or the fuel for everything else, you just got to know that if you don't know that, somebody else knows that, and they'll use your music and your business or your energy to launch their destructive message of kill each other. Yeah, I know you got a gun to defend yourself, but why defend yourself when you can shoot up your own house? you know, so it's just we have to be more organized, be more strategic as far as you know, what are we you know, what are we standing for when it comes to this? Like it's you know, I'm not going to knock, you know, artists that don't have as much substance as, you know, as some of the other artists. If I know that he's just a uh, party, you know, rapper or party MC or party DJ, then you got DJs who atmosphere DJs, where it's not about some music is just atmosphere. It's not about the lyrics, or it's not about, you know, controlling and captivate. Some stuff is just atmosphere and ambiance, you know. So it's just different divisions, and for, you know, for black people in particular, we got to look at it like, you know, don't feed into how mainstream is saying, you know, our industry is faltering, because apparently can't be faltering too bad when or too much when car companies, liquor companies, and all different type of, you know, sneaker companies, all type of industries are built on us saying, hey, guess what? This is in style. The new Samsung phone is in style, or the new iPhone, you know, but they use us to get it started. And then they disappear on us.
And, you know, Air Force Ones and grills and everything we market and promote and sell it.
Yeah, it's so many powerful examples of, you know, for even Adidas, you know, the Kango, you know, the liquors and the cigars and all of that. Like the world looks at us, the world, not just my neighborhood. So when I make music, I know that there is it's a global thing. I'm looking at myself as a world leader. You know, most artists look at themselves as, yo, I'm just doing this for me, fam. I'm just trying to get money. Just get money.
Right,
but
you see how the community thing played when it was like Compton.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows about Compton. Everybody knows about how things go in Compton. South Bronx, South Bronx. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew about that. Queens. Everybody know about Queens. So the thing is, even though we are part of a global community, at the same time, we gotta have community type stuff. Then people that's in Flint, or like brick the foundation and this and that. The brother from Flint, he gotta have a Flint song. He gotta talk about what's going on in Flint.
Yeah,
no matter what else he has, he gotta have one of them in his catalog in this time.
The reason I'm saying it's a global community, right, is because, like you said, in Flint, there's a situation. In Harlem, there's a situation with the K2 and so many other things. In the Bronx, there's so many different locations. Like, you know, in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, and so many different places throughout the world. There's situations, right? But there's situations everywhere throughout. It's a global economy. It's a global thing. So the thing is, okay, you have a problem that you need addressed. Especially with Flint, like you got the artist that's in Flint. The artist in Flint, you know, when we do our reality raps, you know, we gotta say, you know, we gotta, artists in particular, just, you know, just beyond that, artists in particular, our responsibility is to sponge our environment and make sense of it, you know, to say, okay, this is going on, and then either you put forth the solution, or you project, or you tell the people what the problem is, you know, and if you can be the hero of that situation, it is what it is. But our thing is, the reason why it's important for us to know that it's global is if you don't address the things, the world won't know that there's a problem. The world won't know that there's still racism and, you know, in our communities up north or the south. They'll just look at it like, oh, they getting money, they good. They won't, you know, that's the people in South Africa. If there's a South African rapper that doesn't talk about, you know, the growing Nazi-ish situation over there, we're gonna look at them like, oh, they good. All I see online is pool parties and shit. You know what I'm saying? All I'm hearing is, yo, I had so much fun when I went to South Africa because the women are beautiful and they got so many resorts. But it's up to the artist to know that this music is global. So black people don't get fooled going to Israel thinking that shit is sweet and you wind up getting jammed up because they call you an infiltrator or some shit like that, and you're like, hey, what's the infiltrator? And then you wind up in an internment, or in one of these camps. So it's up to us, as artists and as musicians and DJs and music lovers in general, to the fan it's also up to the fan to support and say to your favorite artist, hey, could you talk about this, or could you bring this up? Because not me per se, not me, but there's a lot of artists that are idealists. They have no more ideas, so they going online to they're using social media as what are people talking about.
Well,
so
I want to play an artist. This sister, I believe she's speaking about even what went on with Beyonce and Kendrick Lamar. We could kind of get into that if y'all want to, but that, it's kind of booty. Everybody call themselves talking about it, but they not really looking at. I don't really want to talk about it, but like I said, if y'all want to talk about it after this, I will play this. Just let me play this first.
Duty, as far as I'm concerned, is to reflect the time.
Hold up.
An artist's duty, as far as I'm concerned, is to reflect the times. I think that is true of painters, sculptors, poets, musicians. As far as I'm concerned, it's their choice. But I choose to reflect the times and the situations in which I find myself. That to me is my duty. And at this crucial time in our lives, when everything is so desperate, when every day is a matter of survival, I don't think you can help but be involved. Young people, black and white, know this. That's why they're so involved in politics. We will shape and mold this country, or it will not be molded and shaped at all anymore. So I don't think you have a choice. How can you be an artist and not reflect the times? That to me is the definition of an artist.
Definition of an artist. So, as I was saying, we have Kendrick Lamar and Beyonce trying to reflect the times, and Michael Jackson is what they trying to say us.
That's not it.
I'm just
no. I'm just saying, I just know
they trying to sell us. Yeah.
It's entertainment. I'm not saying I'm not happy that those situations came about where they so happened to speak on something that so many other people were blind to because Beyonce didn't say it or because Kendrick didn't do it. So I don't knock that, but I don't want people to fall for the trap of thinking that this was their decision. It's still coming from the same factory. So you got to know that that is something that you got to realize. We're in the 50th year of the Panthers anniversary, and you're dealing with these corporations that are owned by banks, and these corporations that are owned by people that are pushing a certain agenda, and they using our money to make bombs and blah 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 whatever. But then you got to realize, like, there's a thing set out. The blueprint is already set out, and they just looked at who can sell this campaign. We just pieces to a cog. Who can do the part that we need to push our agenda? So that's why I'm saying, when you're dealing with when you're countering the counterintelligence, most people look at the world view as it's a chess game, and it's important to have the strategies of chess. But I tell people to look at it like Othello, or there's a app, a game. You can pull it up on your phone. It will be called Reversi now, which is Othello, where any and every piece can turn, at any given time. So when you look at something that may be, a problem for us, we can use it at the moment to our advantage, but that doesn't mean that is what it is. You got what I'm saying? So right now, the projection and what's happening is the goal is to remember that the Panthers are the Panthers in Islam are the villains, right? If you look at the mainstream, they try to say, well, the Panthers, they might have did good stuff, but then according to mainstream, they were, you know, they were just as bad as the KK. We know that was a lie. We know that, you know, we know the real information. That's a lie. But at the same time, the propaganda and the artists that they're using in the way that they're using it, the Panthers is the, you know, at the NFL, you got Newton Panther, Cam Newton and the Panther. Okay. Then you got Beyonce celebrating the Panthers during Cam Newton, the Newton and the Panthers game, and the Malcolm. You got what I'm saying? So what they doing entertainment-wise is they're setting you up, and you got to remember who did the, you know, Panther thing and the female and the woman, the woman, the Panthers, Asada Shakur, and right a couple of days from now, or you know, however many, a week or so from now, then you got the president about to go to Cuba, who still hasn't addressed, you know, being called out by the black community, being called out by the black community or the political community in general for not addressing black people. So when we look at Beyonce and what Kendrick is doing, like that is just like a small piece of the cog that we can, you know, we can definitely applaud and be grateful for. But you got to know that without recognizing the big picture, that's how the atomic bomb was made. That's how, you know, the landing on the moon hoax was projected. Because if you do research on how these programs work, they'll have you doing this, they'll have you doing this, they'll have you doing that, and you working you're so not focusing on what you don't know what I'm making, you don't know what he's making, but you don't know that the same guy that's paying you is paying me and paying him. But we don't know about each other, and all I know is my mission is this, your mission is that, so forth. And what he does is he scoops all of that up, balls it up, puts it together, and bomb on you. And you like, yo, you know, you don't even know that you get bombed on with your own creation. So I'm like, you know, just be careful, because we tread in water when it comes to these artists in particular. And just, you know, briefly to touch on or to use as a current event, as a current, you know, example to how these things are playing out in real time that you can refer to immediately. There's a robot that was created by Google that was funded by the Pentagon. And then they got a college creating something that can, you know, hear heartbeats and read, you know, through friggin' walls. And then you got another, you know, a group that's making missiles and bullets that shoot through walls, right? These are all different companies building different parts. Now, if you got a robot that can see through walls, that can shoot through walls and shoot through concrete, and so you put all of those things together, you know, and then the first person or the first group that they use it on is usually people of color. So I'm just saying these are real things that you can go refer to, like, oh, I did see the robot open the door, lift up a box, and that's going to be a whole stock job thing that's going to be out, you know, and so, you know, and the reason why some of these things continue on and we look at it like, oh, that's, you know, now the world is looking at Beyonce not as the good, you know, not as the good guy. It's the same script, because they try to break us from the police, right? You just came with WA saying fuck the police, right? At the height of, you know, the community and the police colliding, right? Even though that was scripted also, you know, but who's writing the script? The same guy who's paying paying this guy's check and her check, you know. And then when it's their turn, the same, you know, it's the same. Damn, police again. Damn, in a video, oh, I'm glad she stood up and she said that, and she used her artistic way to project that the police was messing up the community. But then when she's put on this platform and she does that same song, they looking at her like, yo, did you just put the black community in a position where they're happy that you're saying that the police are, you know, are not for us, and so in turn they're creating anti-police black community that need protection from the police. Not everybody's, you know, gun-toting, walking around, or whatever the case is. So you got to look at, you know, so now the police are put in a position where they have to choose between their families and their brotherhood, you know. So was when it comes to this music and when it comes to this entertainment thing, I think people just see it as entertainment and see it as, oh, just random acts of kindness to us. And when we talking about the mainstream, you got to know that don't none of this stuff lightly. Don't take none of this lightly, because everything is scripted. And we just have to keep in mind that that nowadays, we dealing with a rocket science. We're not dealing with, some random goofy motherfuckers who have no clue about, like, oh, I didn't know that he dropped this record. They know they watching it. They got these supercomputers that's watching damn near any and everybody who they feel could be or should be a threat, or could have a voice, or could be the Messiah, or have the message or whatever. So trust and believe, that everything is filtered. So if it makes it through, I just look at it like, I'll be looking at it like, okay. And then when I see, oh, Assata Shakur still hasn't been pardoned, and they keep pushing this Panther agenda. And then when I look at the Panther, what we talked about, when I looked at the Panther movie, and they still, at the end of the movie, they made the Panthers the villain, and I'm like, and then you look at, she celebrated the Panthers, and she's a leading woman in the community, as an entertainer, celebrating the Panthers, and the Panthers lose, and then you get this Panther documentary, and then the conversation continues on until Kendrick Lamar gets on stage, and he's in prison clothes, and they breaking the chains, but you're still in prison clothes, and you're still, so my thing about celebrating losers is I get passionate about that right there. Like, our community we've been in a position where we're putting our worst out, and we celebrating our losers and celebrating the worst situations, opposed to understanding that, we're in a war. We're in a war. You still haven't been, so you're in war consistently, whether it's spiritually, physically, it's mentally. It's one of those things where you got to know that everything and everybody that they can will be used against you. So I don't want to take away if you were saluting them, or you was just wanted to bring it up, but I just wanted to add that to the conversation, and keep in mind that that's a situation that's very delicate, because I know for a fact, when you do the history on who we're dealing with and what we're talking about and why we're dealing with it, I know for a fact that that's being used for future situation. And most people may not remember everything. They're just gonna recall certain pieces. That's with the psychological thing. And as an advertiser, I know that psychologically, people only walking away with a woman Panther, woman Panther, Cuba, a woman Panther, Cuba, KKK, violence, domestic terrorism, anti-police, killed a police officer. Assata Shakur was accused of killing an officer. A woman Panther accused of killing. A bad situation. She deserved to die. You got what I'm saying? So that's psychological warfare. So for me, I can piece that apart real fast. I know what they're doing with that one. But like you said, I feel like when Khalid, was at one of his lectures, and he was like, "Yo, this room should be filled. The room should be filled right now." But what we got? 7, 6, 2, 3, 10, viewers at this time, and they may see it, years from now, or a couple of days from now, or months from now, because right now mainstream is saying, okay, we're doing this event, we're going to do Flint event. Why you got to do an event? They're domestic terrorists. Put all of the politicians that allowed this to happen. They should be in prison now. You don't gotta. It's not debatable. They belong in prison. That's it. You poison the water. You allowed it to happen. You're the and you seen this going on. They belong in prison. We don't gotta. Why we gotta bring a rally, like let's bring water to Flint. What? These people, like, everybody's broke like everybody else. like the government officials that allowed this to happen, and for, you know, I'm not saying, you know, we shouldn't support our family, you know, and we salute for coming through, but that just shows you, like, okay, as we concentrate on that, you know, now we we lasered in on that. Now you got to realize the backdoor that's going on, the backdoor shit that's going on, you know, with the election, and you know, and these Black Lives Matter random, you know, explosive media horrors type situations. But what I'm saying is, all of this is a computer that laid it out, that laid the script out, and it's brilliant, it's genius upon genius upon genius. Because his mind's like ours, his mind's like mine, who can strategically say, okay, this will work, and then you say your part, he say his part, and then we put it through a computer, and the computer will put it all together in the best plan, and all they do is send the scripts out to all the players. And then most people feel that they're spectators opposed to being players. So most people will sit and watch and be like, they won't understand that how this ties into court and how this ties into regular life. And most people are spectators, and they'll just look like, well, you know, I didn't do it, so, or they ain't got nothing to do with me. And then as the walls close in, on all of us, then we realize, like, oh, that's what that was, you know. So again, you know, it's a situation where it's a very delicate situation, because entertainment, right? And as this is going on, think about the movie Gods of Egypt. That's, you know, we getting bombed on. Think about the entertainment industry. Think about how what's happening. You know, the Oscars. Think about all of these things. You know, I guess my little, you know, piece to you know, question that I say, you know, in the midst of everything is like, do we want this Black History thing to be in February, or do we want to move it to another month? You know, because it's up to the entertainment community, or in the Black community, to realize how our power is being used to fuel these other things that's going on. Because every time, all in Black history, all during our you know, commemorating our community, you got other industries that sit right up on top of us, and we fuel their conversation. So we fuel their industry, we fuel their agenda, and then we get lost because we don't know what we're talking about. We don't, like, well, we're not even getting into Lattimores, and we're not even getting into the real McCoys, and we're not even getting into that, because it's like we're talking about the Oscars, we're talking about Beyonce, we're talking about the NFL, we're talking about situations that go how we go from the community to somebody else's community, you know. So it's just something where is to keep that in consideration when it comes to bigging up some of the mainstream artists that traditionally are quiet on situations.
Yeah. Well, now that you still with us.
Yeah, I'm here, and what I had to say, in the words of Hillary Clinton, back to the issues. Back to the issues. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So on count one of this hip hop industry, what we're describing is this effect on that hip hop has had on a global scale, and completely erasing the mind away from the issues that plague us as a community. So that's count one of the indictment. So I could paint a picture and make a video like Royale was saying that it's all good over here. You guys got a Black president. All I see people doing is popping bottles and running around in expensive cars and yachts and houses. So creating a false template.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the while they attributing who we are to the deaths in Chicago. You see what I'm saying? the deaths over here. We got enough black males in the prison population to populate 9 countries. You see what I'm saying? So we looking we looking past everything, and then we got the audacity to open our mouths and be talking about some motherfucking performance. A performance. You see what I'm saying? That somebody got paid to do. Nobody did that for free. You see what I'm saying? Nobody did that for free. This was a performance. You see what I'm saying? A failure at best. You see what I'm saying? When Michael Jackson did the same thing that Kendrick Lamar did when he said, all I want to say is they don't really care about us. He meant that shit. He meant it. You see what I'm saying? He meant it. He had the same outfit that Beyonce had on, but he meant what he said. He turned into a Black Panther in his video. You see what I'm saying? And he was going at the industry, and he's dead for it. He's dead for it. He ain't sit on no damn patrol car and watch it drown. That means nothing. They went at him. They destroyed his legacy. They put him through hell. They took him through the court system. All of that. Anything that you could do to a black man, we've seen it happen right in front of us. You see what I'm saying? Even to date, even if we look at the gods of Egypt, the only time we've seen ourselves as pharaohs is in Remember the Time. You see what I'm saying? So we look at that. We look at all of this shit that we got going on, and we see it recycled and revamped. So now when you see the Egyptians again, you look at the mummy. So now you remember the mummy. So once you allow the mummy to pass,
they was like, I'm gonna get you on the next one too, fam.
Right. That's it. You done for. So the same people who made the mummy, Spielberg and all those cats, when Michael Jackson went to them and said, I want to portray black people in a great likeness, and I want them to know that they wasn't always slaves, and I wanted to see them in a good likeness and show them a good likeness and imagery before slavery. They said, get the fuck out of here. And then they went and made the mummy. And when they made the mummy, they got Anubis as a UFC fighter, or no, Imhotep as a UFC fighter. You see what I'm saying? So when we see our heroes and our sheroes coming back again, we looking at this entertainment industry as it's just jokes, but it's programming. Everything that got reprogrammed. See what I'm saying? So now you done went all the way to Avatar. You out of space. You see what I'm saying? You went all the way over there. You're not over there. You don't exist anymore. You see what I'm saying?
You a slave.
Until you a slave or you in the hood. You see what I'm saying? One of the most destructive responsibilities was this Zionist hold on the music industry and the destruction of the hood, the war on drugs, the war on poverty. You see, all of that was targeted to a geographical location and a special interest group. You see what I'm saying? So we looking at all of this, and then they're like, oh, we're going to come out with a new movie where these people look like heroes, and they don't count for the death and devastation and everything that was going on. You see what I'm saying? Freeway Ricky Ross is a fucking hero. You see what I'm saying? We got all of this, but I don't blame the people. I'm indicting the industry with that still has a hold to date on our people's minds, to where we clapping and jumping up and singing when we see a crumb thrown from TV, a performance. We got a performance. We still looking at a performance. We still looking at it. We still discussing it. It went from revolution to the halftime. It went from liberation. It went from black liberation, African liberation, repatriation, rebuilding black homes, homeschooling the children. All those fucking conversations went out of the window, and we came back with a performance. A scripted, rehearsed performance, and now motherfuckers is falling out, and we got clashes and factions and all this other shit around a performance. Oh, by the way, we still dying in the streets. By the way, you see what I'm saying? All of this stuff is still happening. It's 150 million black men missing in America, right here. You know what I'm saying? Just missing. Nobody know where they at.
And answer me this: while Kendrick putting on that performance, do he have any stock in the jail industry?
Hey, he was in the same prison type of situation that Michael Jackson was in. You see what I'm saying? And Michael Jackson was calling for revolution. He wasn't calling for claps and applause at the end. You see what I'm saying? He's putting that imagery. He was telling you that on a global scale that this planet is being destroyed. You see what I'm saying? All of these things that was happening, and he brought the imagery and the visual. You see what I'm saying? So right before he died, he did that This Is It movie, and they made sure that they went through all of those songs, controversial songs, however you did, and reformed and reshaped those memories and that imagery that was in your mind. And he said, this is it. You see what I'm saying? Because once they destroy your reputation, once they do this character assassination, the only thing left to do is kill you. And if they don't kill you, there will be no semblance or remembrance of you left. Historically, that's what happens when the empire falls. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we're doing when we're looking at this hip-hop industry. We look at it as hip-hop. It came in as an empire. It reached its height, and you're seeing this destruction. And while it's being destroyed on its way down, you see all of these people coming in and taking what they could get from it and stripping it of its worth. You see what I'm saying? Adding in the multiculturalism element and all this other shit. So when you come back again, you're like, man, I don't want no parts of that shit. I don't want no parts of it. And it's all you infused all the way through it. It's the alchemical mixture of all the genres that came before it and the thing that was to propel it all the way into the future. You see what I'm saying? So is Common acceptable to go to the White House now? You see what I'm saying? Because he made the song about the side of Shakur. But he made that song on the bridge in Selma, so can he go to the White House now? You see what I'm saying? So they show you somebody, and then they show you them again. See what I'm saying? They showed you Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was bad at first, and then you showed him again as a Hulkamaniac. You see what I'm saying? Then you got the statement that he said about niggas. Did he ever change? Hell no, he was the same person the whole time. But the imagery that was shown, that he who controls the images controls the mind. That's what Lerone Bennett Jr. said, and that's a resounding thing that sticks with me to this day. Because the imagery looks like it's solidarity. The imagery looks like it was Black Power. The imagery looked like they was celebrating the Black Panther Party, but they was showing degradation and destruction right there on stage. We fucking applauded for the shit. You see what I'm saying? We still applauding for it. So we got the Clinton, we got all of this shit, because all of this shit is still hip hop. We got the Clinton administration doing the same song and dance with the husband and the wife. You see what I'm saying? And then we got Sister Souljah done reemerge from that again to condemn it the same way she condemned the husband. Then you got the young sister that was up in there in the press conference. They happily escorted her ass out and said, back to the issues. You see what I'm saying? So again, we're not even on the agenda. Just like this dimensional pictures where they're showing future times and they're showing past times. They're doing this simultaneously. Simultaneously, they're showing you how you should be and how you're supposed to be and how you are today as a slave. And then they're showing that they're going to the furthest reaches of the universe. They're not even dealing with the planet Earth. They're projecting themselves into the future with interdimensional travel, and you are nowhere on the planet. You don't exist in that, not even in the mind frame of it. Cosmically, you don't exist. You see what I'm saying? So that's the way that we're able to remove you and change your mind and change your history right before it. So it don't matter what books you give or what images you done show, these are burned in your mind. See what I'm saying? So systematically, that's how it's been used and misused, and that's how we have that responsibility to recreate the narrative, to put our own imagery out, and to be accountable for what we do in media to big up our own artists. You see what I'm saying? Like I said this on my show yesterday. There's a young brother who does numerology, and his mother was on the show. I was like, if you want the young brother to come on my show, you want your son to come on my show, I'll be glad to have him. You see what I'm saying? Because he could be out there tying people up and holding them for ransom. Mm-hmm. So he's choosing life over death, because only death can come from going that wrong way. So if our young brothers and sisters are out there using their knowledge, skills, and abilities and their talents for good, then we should create a space for it. You see what I'm saying? We definitely have to support it because the difference, I said the difference between someone creating history and making the news is our participation. So making the news and making history ain't the same damn thing. So if you want our young children out there, these young brothers and sisters running around here to turn up that not give a fuck meter and make the news, they're gonna make the news. You see what I'm saying? But if you want them to make history, we gotta carve out a space for them to create history. You see what I'm saying? So that point, in regards to where we went from, in regards to what hip hop was, we've made history with it. So now we're looking at the industry, and they made their history. So now we got to rewrite our history and project it into the future, to guarantee a future for our future generations by using this art form and putting it in its proper text. So if we're not journaling about it, if we're not doing videos about it, if we're not producing books, literary works, audio works, visual works, with that we're going to be subjected to that which hasn't. We're nowhere on the agenda other than to be monetized off of.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. So I mean, just to we're gonna sum up with the title. Let's just say the title one more time.
The title is The Hip Hop Industry: Crime Against the Black Community.
All right. So
I sentence they ass to death. Death by hanging.
Nah, you gotta go to the words of wisdoms. I charge you with robbery for robbery of my history. I charge you with rape and murder for suppressing and punishing my people. I charge you with robbery.
Hey, I found him guilty. I get my Judge Dredd on. You see what I'm saying? Judge, jury, executed, and execute their ass publicly in the street. Death by hanging.
Yeah.
Hang by the neck until the life flows out of their body.
Hey, in charge. I'm gonna charge the game. Well, what you call it? Insanity. I think they pleading insanity. I see it's been fully infiltrated, and we have people pretending to be us. So just because those circumstances, I'm gonna have to say, I charge those. I charge those those people that are pretending to be us and those infiltrators. I fully charge them to be judged and to be the ones that are the ones who orchestrated this whole mess, and for using unfortunately exploiting our ignorance, but hey, listen, this is a craft I love. I love music, I love art, I love entertainment. I love my people more though, and I love what I do. So I'm gonna do best and continue to to put my best foot forward to make a prime example for any other artist that's watching me or watch me later or so forth and so on. As you can see, I'm set up by the light. I'm losing sunlight, and I ain't got time to set up everything else. But I gotta head to the studio. But I say thank you, Israel Doctrine. Thank you, Knowledge. For having me as a part of this station. Check me out, royalemusic.com, AWALmusic.com, music MUSIC.com, royalemusic.com. Hit up the website, hit up Royale News if you want that information. Royale, RAYALNEWS.com. Follow, if you guys watch this and you got Twitters, follow me on Twitter, Royale, RAYAL. You got Facebook, you got Instagram, whatever the case is, it's all the same name, it's all the same thing.
Royale.
That's right. But you know what it is, man. Shit, I mess around, I'm gonna make a new genre on, man, because again, hip hop is, it's a crowded room, and I think you know, after a couple of projects or whatever. But I intend on creating a new genre because I think that's what they want us to do anyway. So I got my foot on, you know, I got some things in the works. But before that, you know, we're gonna put out this project and we're gonna stay so, you know, we can keep building on that. And all you artists, man, all you producers, all you DJs, man, you know, come on, let's pull it together. Let's get right, because, you know, we are blamed for, you know, for the mistakes of our community, because we are the voices and the faces of this thing. So you know, before everybody will get their Judge Dredd on us, we gotta call out the pretenders. We gotta call out these federal agents and call out these clowns that are pretending to be, you know, well, you already know they damn federal agents, and they, you know, they just, you know, they just imitating, but you'll never, they're not the truth. You know, they're not the truth. Salute. I'll probably drop a freestyle or something like that, you know, on the page. So definitely check that out. And again, thanks for having me, man.
I appreciate you coming to the show, Royale. Appreciate you, Knowledge, for coming to the show. Shout out to DJ Black, whose phone died.
Shout out to Black.
His phone was like hip hop there for a second. It just
it just died, man.
After the industry, it just died. So
yeah.
For the most part, people, it was a nice show. I appreciate everybody adding and stuff and doing stuff. Hopefully people can learn a little bit about this. Maybe some youngsters catch this show and, you know, learn.
Israel, can I read this little quick couple of sentences from this book?
You the man.
It's from my brother, The Black Dot, Hip Hop Decoded. Go to www.idecoded.com and get both of his books, Urban Hip Hop, Urban Culture Decoded, and also Hip Hop Decoded. Two masterful presentations from my brother, The Black Dot. On the subject of music, he said, "Music is the gateway." The gateway to what, you may ask? The gateway to healing, the gateway to spirituality, the gateway to inner and outer body experiences, even the gateway to other dimensions. It is the one true universal language that speaks to the highest self of all. Our ancestors used the power of music for all the purposes and many more. Music for mere entertainment was near the bottom of the scale. I want to read that one more time. Music for mere entertainment was near the bottom of the scale. The right chord, hymn, or drum sound that resonates to the core of one's essence can work the wonders of the soul. Even today, the right music enables one to escape the stress of everyday life, to feel free, and let the imagination run wild. This allows one to unleash the power of visualization, which is imperative because our ancestors taught that all is mental. Yet we live in a world of dualities. So for all the positive energy and attributes that music has to offer, there are those who know the science of music well and can use its power for the exact opposite effect. So I just wanted to read that. That's an excerpt from Hip Hop Decoded. Black Dot wrote that book 11 years ago.
My brother
it
can
was his
read.
first book. So go check that out. Hip Hop Decoded. It's a masterful
Salute to the Black Dot,
presentation.
man. Salute to the Black Dot. He always holding down the culture, you heard?
Always.
And check out, just type in Israel Doctrine. You might find some negative stuff out there because they've been trying to bum me out there with some old madness and stuff. People love to try to dirty up my name, you know. But just type in Israel Doctrine. You'll find some stuff out there on me. I've been on plenty of platforms. But IsraelDoctrineEntertainment.com is the website, and IsraelDoctrine.org is the spot also. So with that said, check me out and watch the negative stuff too. That way when you see the positive stuff, you can see they line, you know. So shout out to my street team, my internet promotional team, you know, giving me all that negative publicity and turning it turn it into something positive. So shout out to him. With that said, we gonna be out, y'all. Peace.
Peace.